It's Wednesday, January 22nd, and time for your Barbados Today Morning News Update. 3 scholarships will be awarded to students of newer secondary schools starting on Errol Barrow Day next year. Prime Minister Mia Mottley says the scholarships, which will be given annually on January 21st, the birthday of the Right Excellent Errol Barrow, will be in areas related to the former leader's interests and life. She made the announcement at the unveiling of a plaque yesterday at the Garden Checker Hall, St. Lucie, the birthplace of the father of independence.
That these 3 scholarships will be reserved for people from newer secondary schools in Barbados only. Two, that they will be in the 3 areas of air transport. I'm sure that Mr. Barrow would smile from wherever he is if he knew that this scholarship would produce a pilot or an aeronautical engineer. 2, maritime. He was a lover of the ocean, and his determination that his ashes are there in the Caribbean Sea are forever to remind us of his love for the Caribbean, but also that the Caribbean Sea forever remain as a zone of peace, a phrase that I have had to use with more regularity in the last 2 years than I ever dreamt I would have to use it. And 3, of course, culinary skills.
Prime Minister Mottley says the 3 areas were chosen because they are not covered by the curriculum at the University of the West Indies.
But I've chosen the newer secondary schools because between Grantley Adams and Errol Barrow, they laid the platform for the mass democratization of education in this country. And it is only fitting, therefore, that just as I have spoken today, I shall also speak on April 28th. Suffice it to say that by their living, by our living, by the living of these scholarship winners, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years from now, we will be living our heroes and the example brought to us by our heroes. I believe, therefore, Peter, that call on me to help with whatever you want here, because this journey is one that matters more than the destination. But as a government, our ability to create opportunity for people for whom opportunity does not now exist yesterday is the greatest legacy that Errol Walton Barrow would want us to give to the people of this nation.
CARICOM ambassador and activist David Comishong also addressed the gathering, and he told those in attendance efforts must be made to erect a facility on the site of the home of the former Prime Minister. He said St. Lucie should use this year to begin putting the foundation in place.
I understand that Mr. Barrow's, the house in which he was born, has really become so dilapidated that it cannot really be saved. But I would like to think that we are going to have an effort, since we can't save the house, but to build a facility here, a facility in which we tell the story of the Barrow-O'Neill tradition and contribution to Barbados, in which we tell the story not only of Errol, but also of Dame Nita, of Bishop Reginald Grant Barrow, of Ruth Alberta O'Neill Barrow, and of Charles Duncan O'Neill.
The Barbados Light Aeroplane Club, which was founded by Mr. Barrow 69 years ago, was also in celebratory mode yesterday. It celebrated his centenary with an open day. Club member Michelle Marquis said Mr. Barrow's vision for the club led to the development of aviation on the island.
His vision, his guidance and advice is what has made the club to what it is today. Not only just our club being part of his history, but he actually made Barbados Aviation what it is today. Pilots have trained here that now fly every single type of aircraft in every continent of this world. Commercial pilots have come through this club because of Errol Barrow, because of his vision.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To developments from our regional neighbors now, Trinidad and Tobago's Chamber of Industry and Commerce puts forward a number of crime-fighting recommendations as it calls for urgent action to arrest the problem. More in this report from TV6 News.
The people of Trinidad and Tobago are in a crisis of crime. That's the view of the TNT Chamber of Industry and Commerce. In a statement Monday, the Chamber said National Security Minister Stuart Young must acknowledge, quote, "We are not just in a difficult situation, but in fact in a crisis regarding crime, and we do not have the luxury of time to deal with it," end quote. The Chamber feels urgent action must be taken, and it must be taken now. The Chamber says while the police service is trying its best, it just cannot deal with the crime situation by itself, and other arms of the security infrastructure must be mobilized. The Chamber is also recommending circulate in the media at every police station and all police posts a list of the most wanted criminals in the country. Seek assistance from our CARICOM partners who have successfully reduced similar crime upsurges in their own country. Bring in international experts to support the crime-fighting effort. Tell the public about crime-fighting strategies with metrics that show their success or failure, and ensure that high-tech equipment such as drones and CCTV cameras with facial recognition are fully operational and being fully used.
And finally, the Senate impeachment trial of U.S. President Donald Trump started with Democrats and Republicans wrangling over the rules. But the Republican-controlled Senate rejected 3 Democratic efforts on Tuesday to obtain documents and evidence. More in this report from Reuters TV.
Fair is fair.
It is completely partisan.
The start of President Donald Trump's impeachment trial on Tuesday was all about fairness or the lack thereof, with the leaders from each party in the Senate sparring over the rules of the trial, and Democrats accusing the top Republican of rigging the process.
The process was good enough for President Clinton, and basic fairness dictates it ought to be good enough for this president as well.
Contrary to what the leader said, I'm amazed he could say it with a straight face, that the rules are the same as the Clinton rules. The rules are not even close to the Clinton rules.
The night before, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell unveiled rules he said would mirror those used in the 1999 impeachment trial of then-President Bill Clinton, but Democrats cried foul, fearing that McConnell's plan would lead to a potentially quick trial without new testimony or existing evidence, giving the House prosecutors and Trump's lawyers each 24 hours to present arguments over just 2 days. But after a closed-door lunch for Republican senators, a spokesman for McConnell said changes were made to give each side 3 days of opening arguments instead of 2. And the rules will now allow the House's record of the impeachment probe admitted as evidence in the trial as Democrats had demanded.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.